Good morning, students. Today we'll do the second part of the chapter, A Gift of Chappals. But before starting our second part, I'll just give you a quick revision of the first part. Mridhu went to Rukmani's house to meet her cousins Lali, Ravi, and Meena. There, she saw an old chappal when she was about to open her slippers. Ravi took her to the backyard. There Mridu saw a cat whose name was Mahendran. Ravi had to place Ravi had to face lot of problem in order to provide her milk. Ravi gave lot of knowledge about Mahendran. According to him, the cat was descended from Mahendrapuram Rishi cat who was worshipped in ancient Egypt. Suddenly there was a crunching sound. Then Ravi told them that Lali is learning to play violin. So we begin with the second part. Mridu crept up to the window. Lali was sitting little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbow jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. So here Mridu just peeped in the window where Lali was sitting and playing the violin, and she was little awkward. She was holding the violin and the bowstring in her hand, and her eyes was concentrated to the master who was teaching. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure, the music master. He had a most bald head with a frig and oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old flashed tuft. A gold chain gleamed around the leathery neck. So here the master is having a bony figure and his hair is oiled black. His hair is falling around his ears and he is having a tuft, that is a bunch of hairs on his back, and his neck is leathery, like that is little tough. He is wearing a gold chain in his neck and a diamond ring glittered in his hand, and it glitched up and down the stream of the violin. A large foot stuck out of the beneath his golden bordered vesty edge, and he saw beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. So here the music master is also wearing a diamond ring. When he is gliding up the violin stem, so his ring is also glittering, it is shining, and he is wearing a vesti. Vesti means dhoti, and that dhoti is having a golden border, and he is just passing time. He is just teaching Lali and he is just passing the time swamping big toe. He played a few notes. Lali stumbled behind him on her violin. So here the music master is teaching her to play violin, and she was just following the music master, but she's little scared, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master note seems to float up and settled perfectly into the invisible track of the melody. It was like the wheels of the train lifting smoothly into the rail, whistling along. Here, Lali is little unhappy. So the music master is playing the violin. It is just floating up and settling perfect into an invisible track. So the music which he's playing, it is very fluent and it is whistling along. Whistling means moving quickly through the air in a buzzing sound. So as Ravi said, Mridyu started at that huge bright hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. So the music which music master is playing, it is lovely and perfect. And it seems like effortlessly. He's not putting any effort and the music is on. Squawk! There was Lali's derailed again. Here, derailed means leaving its track accidentally. So while Lali is playing the violin, she is totally off track and she is not able to match the master. Amma, come a wail from the gate. Amma, oh. Here the wail means a painful voice. Somebody is there on the gate and who is saying Amma, Amma, oh. Ravi said that the beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda, where she was chanting. Here Ravi's mother is saying that Ravi, send that beggar away with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from, Pati explained to Tapi. So here Pati is telling uh, that that beggar is coming from a week, so it's time to find another house for that beggar. It's enough of begging from this house. Now it's time that he has to find another house. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree, and he was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze, while he watched for the arms to appear. Go away, said Ravi strangely. My party says it's time you to found another house to beg from. Mridu and Meena, both of them followed Ravi, and they went to the garden. There the beggar was trying to take rest. He just spread his upper clothes under the neem tree, and then again he was about to take sleep. Snooze is going to little sleep. So then Ravi asked, go away. And so he asked him that it's time to find another house for you to beg from. It's enough. Now you can find another house for yourself. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. So then here, beggar, he was standing at the gate around. He just opened his eyes and wide and he was staring all the three of the kids. The ladies of this house, he said, at last in a voice choked his feeling, and very kind soul, I was kept my body and soul together on there generously for a whole week. Here this line means manage to stay alive. So here the beggar is telling that I have kept myself alive, just I was just able to keep myself alive. I have not eaten any food. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He realized He raised his voice, Amma, Amma, oh, sad his wail might be, but he certainly wasn't feeble. He began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his writhed belly and came booming out of his mouth with his few remaining teeth string brown and beetle chewing. So here he was chewing some beetle. Beetle is supari. So his teeth is all brown. It is just staining, and due to hunger, a sound is also coming from his belly. Ravi tell him there's nothing left in the kitchen. Called Rukmani. So Rukmani is telling here that tell him there's no food left in the kitchen and just go away. And he is not to come again. Tell tell him that she sounded fed up. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree the beggar sat up and cited. So here, whatever Ravi's mother asked him to say, it was all audible to the beggar. So it was not important to repeat it. I'll go, he said warriorly. So the beggar told Ravi that I'll go, don't worry, I'll just go away. Only tell me, have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot, the tar has melted on the road. My feet. So here, beggar just wanted to have a rest under the tree, and he asked Ravi that after having a rest, he'll just go away. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large pink peeling blisters on the sole of his bare feet. So here he has got a boil in his feet. Blisters means boil bubbles on the skin from burn or rubbing. So here the beggar is walking bare feet and he has got a boil in his feet. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals. Mridu whispered to Meena Ravi. Have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? So here Mridu is telling Meena and Ravi that I think he's not having any money to buy a chappal. So do you have any old chappal at home so that we can give it to him? I don't know, said Ravi. Meena, mine are too small to fit his feet, or I'd have given them to. And his feet were larger than Mridu and Meena's. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his voice and looked fearful at the road gleaming in the afternoon heat. So here Ravi is telling, I don't know, mine feet or yours feet is too small. Our chappals won't fit in his feet. So what shall we do now? So then the beggar stood up and he tightened his dhoti and he was about to leave. He needs something on his feet, Meena said. Her big eyes filled. It's not fair. So here Meena is telling that he needs something in his feet. How will he walk in the road? And it's not fair to him. Shh, said Ravi. I'm thinking about it. Blumbering, it's not fair. So again, Ravi is also saying that it's not fair actually. It's not fair isn't going to help. In 2 minutes he'll be frying his feet on that road. What he need is a pair of chappals. So where do we get them? Come, let's search the home. He pushed Mridu and Meena into the house. So here Ravi is asking, come on, let's search in our house that we must find some of the chappals. Maybe some old chappal, we can find it. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the old-looking chapel she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, those are whose? So when Mridu came to Ravi's house, when she was opening her slippers, she was taking off her slippers. So then she saw a old chappal lying there. So then she called Ravi and she asked that whose chappals are this? Can we give this to that beggar? Ravi turned and gazed at the shabby-looking but sturdy old slippers. He blinked and nodded. "These are just the right size," he said, picking them up. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. So Ravi told them that yes, of course, this is the right size and we should give this chappal to him. "Here," said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the chappal in front of the old man, "wearing these don't come back." The beggar stared at the slipper, hurried, flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them and left, muttering a blessing into the children. In a minute he had vanished around the corner of the street. So now Ravi has given those chappal to the beggar, and beggar have worn that chappal, and he has went off. He was muttering. Here muttering means he was just murmuring, little he was just whispering a blessings that they have given those chappals to the beggar. The music master came out of the house and took an unappreciative look at the three of them, sitting quietly under the tree playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda where he had put them. So in the meanwhile, beggar went, and then all the three of them, they were sitting under the tree and they were playing marbles. And then music master came, and then he was searching for his chappal, but there was no chappal. Lali, he called after a few moments. She hurried up to him. Have you seen my chappals? My dear, I remember having kept them here. Ravi, Mridu, Meena silently watching Lali and music master search every corner of the veranda. He cur- he scurried around, looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pot to look between them. Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them, he went on saying. They cost a whole month's fees. Do you know? Then Lali and the music master both started hunting for the chapels. They saw each and every corners of that garden where he has opened the chapel, and the music master kept on appreciating his chapel that it was brand new. That chapel cost whole for a month's fees that he earns. So it was like brand new, and he couldn't find it, and he was very worried. Soon Lali went in to tell her mother. Rukmani appeared, looking harsh, with Pati followed her. So soon Rukmani came into the garden, and she was very harsh, she was very angry, and Pati also followed her. Where could they be? It's really quite upset to think someone might have stolen them. You so many vendors come to the door, worried Pati. So Pati worried that might your chappals have been stolen. Many vendors come every day here, so maybe your chappals has been stolen. Rukmani caught sight of Ravi, Mridyu, and Meena sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began, and then so she asked the children, all the three of them, that have you seen those chappals? Seeing they were curiously quiet when one more slowly seen anywhere lurking around the veranda. A V-shaped line had formed between their eyebrows. Another straight, tighter one appeared in place of her usual soft, pleasant mouth. Rukmani was usually soft, pleasant mouth. Rukmani was angry, though Mridu with shiver. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar and source of his feet. She tried to tell her himself. So as Rukmani asked all the three of them, a V-shaped line was formed between her forehead. V-shaped means that she is in very anger mood. So she asked three of them that have you seen the chappals? So here Rukmani thought that if I tell her the truth about the beggar's feet, so might she would not be in anger, might she'll forgive us. So she thought of sharing that thing with Rukmani. Taking a deep breath, she cried, Rukmani, there was a beggar here, poor thinking. He had such boils in his feet. So there was a beggar here, and he was having a boil in his feet. So we have given those chappals to that beggar. All these things Mridu told to Rukmani. So, said Rukmani, gleaming, turning to Ravi, you gave the music master's chappal to the old beggar who turns up here. So Rukmani was very angry. He asked Ravi that you have given that music master's chappal to that beggar. I mean, why? He was in a very anger mood. Children these days groaned Pati. Here groaned means here Pati added that children these days in a very conveying manner. She was trying to explain those children. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna who gave away everything he had, even his gold ring? He was so kind and generous. So here Mridu is telling that didn't you have told me about that Karna that who he was so kind and he used to give his all his things to the beggars or he used to just give it away without any reason. Silly, snapped Rukmani. Karna didn't give away other people's things. He only gave away his things. So here Rukmani says that silly. Karna used to give his own thing. He used to give his own thing, not the things of others. But my choppers wouldn't have fitted the beggar's feet. Ravi rushed brashly on, and Amma, if they didn't fit, would you really not have minded? Ravi said Rukmani, very angry now. Go inside this minute. So here Ravi just came inside the garden and he just told Rukmani if it would have been fitted to the beggar's feet then wouldn't the music master have felt bad about it? So Rukmani was very angry. She was very angry and she asked Ravi to just go inside the house. She hurried indoor and brought out Gopu Mama's hardly worn new chappals. These should fit you, sir. Please put this on. I am so sorry. My son has been very naughty. The music master eye lit up. He put them on, trying not to be look so happy. So here Rukmani went inside the home and then she brought a new chappal. With that chappal was of Gopu Mama's and he hardly wore that chappal. So it was like brand new chappals only. So she gave that chappals to the music master and the music master was still not that happy. Well, I suppose these will have to do. These days children have no respect for elders. What to do? So music master added that these days children don't respect their elders. I mean, we can't do anything. Hanuman incarnate, only Rama can save such a naughty fellow. Rukmani eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. So here, Music Master is indirectly saying that only Rama, the Lord Ram, can punish these kinds of fellow. Only the Lord Ram can make this kinds of fellow in a straight path. So indirectly he is calling Ravi a monkey, a holy monkey, that is Hanuman. So Rukmani didn't like this attitude of music master, and it was quite often. I mean, it was quite seen that she was just standing at the door, straight, stiff, and just she just wanted the music master to leave quickly from his house. When he had clattered off in his new chappals, she said, "Mridu, come on and have some tiffin." So here clattered means gone off noisily. The music master he just went away by a noise of clattering. That chappal was making a clattering noise and Exactly, he was in little anger, so he was just stamping the chappals and just he was going by, which makes a clattering sound. And then Rukmani asked Mridu to come and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such things? Thank God your Gopu Mama doesn't wear these chappals to work. So here Rukmani is telling like how you children think of such things. I mean, thank God that I was having a pair of Gopu Mama's chappal. So I gave that to music master. Otherwise, what would have happened? As she walked towards the kitchen with Mridu and Meena, she suddenly began to laugh. And then when she was going to the kitchen, she started laughing. Who? Rukmani. But he's always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get it into his chappals as soon as he come home. What's your mama going to say this evening when when I tell him I gave this chappals to music master? So here again Rukmani is adding that when Gopu Mama will come to the house in the evening. So, what will I say to him? I mean, he's in a so hurry to throw his socks and shoes, and he just wanted to wear those chappals to feel relaxed. And when today he won't be getting those chappals, then what would have happened? I mean, what will happen? And he would be so upset. And how will I tell him these things that you guys have given those chappals to the beggars? And I have to give his chappal to the music master. Oh God. So here we complete off with this chapter, A Gift of Chappals. Thank you.